game, and then like LeBron was out. But we beat them both times because they couldn't. It was too hard for them to guard D'Lo and Schroeder because it's two completely different paces. So it's like, and they don't have good defensive guys. Like Draymond is great defensively, but he's probably going to have his hand full with Anthony Davis. You know, Curry isn't going to be able to guard D'Lo or Schroeder, and Klay Thompson isn't the guy he once was defensively, so he's not going to be able to guard D'Lo or Schroeder. And then Wiggins is going to have his handfuls with LeBron James, so our guard play is going to be huge. And they're not very good defensively. They can't win on the road, so all we have to do is win one road game in Golden State, which we've already proven we can do. We did it. And so I just I really like. I would love to play. I'd love to play Golden State because I just think LeBron knows them so well too. Like LeBron knows him. LeBron knows Golden State probably better than any coach, any team, because he's had to play them every year for the last 10 years in the finals, and in the regular season. So he knows what it takes. He's historically dominated them. Anthony Davis, go look up Anthony Davis.
I want to say dominated.
Anthony Davis destroys it because they don't have anyone's size. That's also a series. That's also a series you could probably play Mo Bamba, right? Because Mo, like this series, it's a terrible matchup for him. But that series, he can hold his own against Kevon Looney or Draymond. Like you don't really have to worry about that. They're not like these big offensive threats, right? And so I mean, I just think like I would rather play the Warriors personally. I just think we match up to them well. I think we can beat them. And look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying we're just going to walk. It's going to be a sweep or a gentleman sweep or anything. Like that series probably goes 6 or 7 games. But I think we beat them because look, I think we win all 3 of our home games. So as long as we win all 3 of our home games, at worst we go to 7 games.
I think the Warriors this year are way better on the road than they are at home. I believe
the Warriors you mean at home on the road? They're terrible on the road. Yeah. So as long as we win our 3 home games, which we should. Again, they're the worst. They're the worst road team in the league outside of like San Antonio and Detroit or whatever. Who they're basically tanking. They're losing on the road purposely. But outside of that, the Warriors are terrible. The Warriors won 11 road games this year. So they are terrible, but they're also like 3rd best in the league.
I was going to say, and also too, I mean, they're really at home. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of at home. If you look at it, like
Well, in the travel, you're not going to have to travel as much. I mean, even with Sacramento, you're not going to have to. Like right now, we're playing an East Coast team. They're the Memphis Grizzlies. They're in Memphis. Like we have to. Like I mean, even the Warriors last year complained about it. Even the Warriors, Draymond Green has talked about how like it sucks having to play Memphis because you literally have to fly. Like it's like as if you're playing an East Coast team because you essentially are. So, but if either of these teams, the Kings or the Warriors, all those games are basically going to be like it's light travel, which means you get better sleep, which means you get better rest. I mean, they could take a bus to Golden State. You know what I mean? Like they could take a bus to Sacramento, like if they needed to. I mean, they'll fly, but they can. It's like next door. It's just, but it's just in general, like, they like the Lakers. I think they match up well. We've beaten the Kings too. We've shown we can beat the Kings. I just think we match up well against both those teams. Neither of those teams play good defense. I've had a lot of people talk about like their concerns with like the pace that they play and stuff like that. But everything's inflated in that series because it's 2 teams that play exactly the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Like both teams want to go 100 miles an hour as fast as possible. One team is super young that is just running up and down the court as much as possible. And another team is just, they want to get out and transition and jack up threes, right? Like it's 2 identical teams playing against each other. When either of those teams play the Lakers, it's not going to be 2 identical teams going against each other. Those scores will probably still be high because the Kings and the Warriors can't play defense. So the Lakers are going to score a bunch of points. And I just trust if the game comes down to it, you're gonna have, tight games.
Yeah.
Who do I trust more to get a stop and close out those games? I trust LeBron James and Anthony Davis to close out those games. And I trust the Lakers and their elite defense. I mean, their defense has been incredible in this playoff series.
Yeah.
I trust that defense to stop and slow down the Warriors, right? What they're gonna do is they're gonna box in one Steph Curry with Jared Vanderbilt, and Jared Vanderbilt's gonna have to chase around him. And then when he's not in it, it's gonna be Steph. It's gonna be Schroeder. They'll throw Shooter on him, and they're just gonna just run guys at him. I wouldn't even mind seeing Shaq get thrown in, and he guards him for a couple possessions or whatever, just to wear him down. You could actually make an argument. It might be easier for our guys. I'm not saying that it's easier to guard Steph Ja than Steph, but for our team, it might be easier for us to guard Steph than it is for Ja and like De'Aaron Fox, because De'Aaron Fox and they want to blow by. They want to just run. And D'Lo isn't very quick. Reeves isn't very quick. Vando, he's just long and lengthy, so he's able to kind of stride with them. But he's not like light speed. He's not up and down, right? But Steph is just going to be coming off all these ball screens, double screens. He's just running around. So, but we have guys that are more switchable, right? Like Reeves it's hard to switch on Ja because he can just blow right by D'Lo. He could just blow right by Rui. He could just blow right by. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. But with Steph, yes, his first step is quick. He can get to the basket. I'm not saying he can't, but it's easier to recover. It's easier for us to switch, Troy Brown or a Reeves or a D'Lo on him, and he can at least stay in front of him. Steph is still amazing. Steph is still going to score and get his numbers, but I just think it's easier to game plan for him than it is to game plan for Ja, because yes, Ja is a lot more limited, but it's just you have to have the speed to keep up with him. And if you don't, it becomes a problem. Again, not saying Steph is night and day the better player. I'm just saying, I just think for this Lakers team, the way that this Lakers team is built, I think they match up better to Steph Curry than they do like a De'Aaron Fox, right? De'Aaron Fox and Steph are both going to get theirs. Not my concern. They're both going to get their boys. It's just, can we keep them modest? Can we keep Steph from going off for 50? I just think it'd be easier to do that. But just in general, like there's also a ton of concerns with the Warriors, right? Like their depth, their bench, their defense, like all of those things. I just think the Lakers are but real quick,